Hello friends, today we are going to see 8th standard chapter 1, the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution lessons starting from 8th standard are very important for all the competitive examinations if you are looking to enter into Indian civil service examinations or forest service examinations and such examinations. All government examinations, it is very important. So whatever we say apart from this school book, whatever information we say, I request you to do a little research on those things to be familiar with the happenings. Indian Constitution. What is Constitution? Say, in a game, how the rules are framed. In our book, the football game is given. It has to be played with foot. We should not touch the ball with hands. And such rules are there, right? Victory is particular action. Penalty is particular action, like that. We will also see one more thing. We will imagine a person or few people migrating from one place to another, finding a place in remote forest and settling there and developing in another 100 years as a village. How will they form the rules? Whoever reached that particular place or whoever found out the potential of particular place will be the leader. And whoever came later will ask him, okay, where should I live? Okay, take that part of the village or clear the forest up to that area and you take care of that. Like do all agricultural activities, such the things. So when they are settled there and after 100 years, they have a lot of, a few hundred people there with proper village. This is how village comes. What would be the basic rules? Where the houses will be constructed? What will be the gap between one house to another? How the garbage will be collected, where the garbage will be, stored or recycled or dumped, how the water resource of the village will be used, how agriculture will be done, from which part to which part one person will do agriculture, because the land is available as forest, so they just clear the forest and make it available for the agriculture. So how the agriculture, the land will be identified, from where to where, and how will they identify? And after the demise of one person, how the sons or daughters, children of that man will divide the land among themselves without conflict. Just rules like north side will be for the elder son, south side will be for the younger son, something like that. So this is how rules are framed when a village is formed out of nowhere. We as a country fought British very hard for few 100 years, 200 years, more than 200 years, and finally we came to be as a country. So a rule book is necessary to avoid conflicts, to live harmonically, etc. So such documents in which we find such rules is called Constitution. That is called Constitution. So what is Constitution? Two things are important for Constitution. A written document. There should be a written document. Okay. And what it has? That is rules. Rules. It has rules. You have constitution for football, you have constitution for ICC. What is ICC? Cricket League, International Cricket League. So what International Cricket Council. So that has a rule. What is BCCI? BCCI has a constitution. You know what is BCCI? It's just a society that is registered in Chennai. And that society only representing India in that game. So that society constitution is constitution of BCCI. So we are coming to the main part of the lesson. Why does a country need a constitution? Why does a country need a constitution? We will see why it need a constitution. We will understand how it is made now. How Indian constitution was made. Do you know? In 1934, an eminent communist called M.N. Roy proposed the need to have a Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly need was first proposed by Mr. M.N. Roy in 1934. In the same year, Indian National Congress held its annual meeting in Faizpur. In that meeting, Indian National Congress also proposed the demand for Constituent Assembly. In our book, it has only INC, but who proposed it first is historical question. It is Mr. M.N. Roy. Indian National Congress proposed in 1934. Okay, first Indian National Congress proposed in 1934. But who proposed first? M.N. Roy. Indian National Congress holds its annual session of meeting every year, starting from January 24. Starting somewhere from end of the month in December. Anywhere, you know, this even now the Congress, committees meetings are held in, annual meetings are held in December last week only. So in such meeting in 1934, Indian National Congress made the demand for Constituent Assembly. During the Second World War, that is after 1942, this demand gained momentum. What gained momentum? Independent Constituent Assembly. What is Independent Constituent Assembly? Constituent Assembly that has British. No, it will not be helpful. They changed the demand to Constituent Assembly that has only Indians. That gained momentum in 1940s, and finally it was granted by British Parliament, and from December 1946 the Constituent Assembly came to existence in December 1946. If we see in December 1946, 3 dates are very important. That is 9th December, first meeting of Constituent Assembly happened. 9th December is the first meeting of Constituent Assembly. Then they dispersed, came again on 11th December. On that day only one thing happened. What happened? Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as chairman of that Constituent Assembly. They dispersed again. Again they came back on 13th of December. This is important. This 9th December starting and 13th December meeting is important, because only on 13th of December our Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru proposed the objective of the Constituent Assembly. That is, what is going to be the objective of Constituent Assembly? We are all here together, so there should be a purpose. What will be the purpose? That was explained by Jawaharlal Nehru by his first resolution called anything. Actually, you know, have you elected a leader in your class? What would be that? I first someone and I second that person, like that. It's a resolution. It is a proposal. And in that objective resolution, Nehru said what is going to be the objective of that Constituent Assembly, what will be its motto, what it will keep in mind while doing that work. Doing the work in all direction is not important. Doing the work in right direction is important. So they decided what is the right direction. And it was made clear in objective resolution. This objective resolution is the important thing and formed the basis for our preamble of Indian Constitution. You have read it in 7th standard, I suppose. We, the people of India, solemnly affirm. See that front page of Constitution. That is from this objective resolution by Jawaharlal Nehru. So the preamble design itself is Nehru's idea. So between 1946 and November 1949, 3 years to be exact. In all competitive exams you will be asked what is that time period. 2 years, 11 months, 18 days is the exact thing. So you see this Constituent Assembly. This Constituent Assembly worked, that is, it was the life of the Constituent Assembly for 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. This is the exact thing. So in between this, Constituent Assembly drafted a constitution for independent India. One thing, what they should have in their mind, they should have had a few important things in mind, because they fought against British as one, and they have to remain as one. It should be something that all people should feel, okay, this constitution is ours. This constitution is protecting my right. I don't have to worry about staying in India, and I should feel proud about being an Indian, because this constitution is such a good thing. So people should ultimately feel that. You must have seen the Ice Age movie. Do you remember this scene? This has 2 elephants, 1 tiger, 1 sloth, 2 possums. They vary in size. Their characters are different. They have different characters and attitudes. One is fierce, one is coward, one is naughty, one is sticking everywhere. But still, they form a team. The Constitution should be a document that protects the right of everybody. We all different kinds of people should rise as one nation. We cannot push one to down and go up. No, we cannot do that as a nation. That is not a right thing, or that is not at all possible. So, this balancing, in numbers, you can imagine this picture in different aspects. In number, elephant can represent the majority, tiger can represent a minority, the possums can represent micro minority, elephant can represent a good heart, tiger can represent both the ways, fierce heart but good heart, and maybe lesser the size, you may represent some other characters that exist in our society in many numbers. So, but if one falls, everyone falls. So if all need to escape, they should all cooperate, balance and come out of the hard situation. This is the situation. See, this is the Constituent Assembly members. There were almost 300 members, You can see them here. And the important, there were major committees and minor committees. But important committee was drafting committee. Drafting committee will draft how the constitution will be and submit to relevant major committee. After discussions, major committee will decide if that article goes or not. This is the drafting committee. This Mr. B.R. Ambedkar is the drafting committee chairman. He will say we must agree he is the father of the constitution. All other members you will read in further classes. This was the Constituent Assembly symbol. Elephant was the animal that represented Constituent Assembly. They chose elephant. This is the written constitution. This constitution, you see the calligraphy? Yes. You see the pictures? Yes. These are the contributions of some artists. You see, this is the constitution, the original constitution page. Okay. This is the original constitution that was written, handwritten, kept in Library of Parliament in helium-filled chamber. This is a helium-filled chamber. You see the calligraphist, he is the calligraphist Mr. Prem Bihari Raizada. And the paintings, they were all painted by the painters of Santiniketan. That includes Mr. Ram Manohar Shukla and Nandlal Bose. Okay, this is Tej Bahadur, Guru Gobind Singh. See, this is fundamental rights page. This has Ram, Lakshman and Sita. So, this is about constitution and constitutional. This is just about Constitutional Assembly. Okay, we will now move to constitution itself. Most countries in the world have constitution. Yes, but democratic countries 100% they should have a constitution, because democratic countries are ruled by people elected. So people are the bosses indirectly. So to have a better understanding, so not to confuse with rules, all democratic countries in the world have constitution, but not all countries having constitution are democracies. Okay, so the constitution serves several purposes. What are the purposes? There are 3 purposes that constitution serves according to our book, that lays out certain ideals that form the basis of kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. So citizen aspires to live in a country something like an ideal country. So some ideals, what are the ideals that people are proud of? So constitution is supposed to lay those ideals only on the basis of what kind of country. Can we adopt one constitution? America is a very good country. Can we adopt American constitution as such? Will that fit? No. American constitution is adopted, it's framed based on the American history. What are the kinds of people are there? What are the kinds of rights they must be given? It is different for India. Totally different for India. Another way, constitution tells us what are the fundamental nature of our society. A country is usually made of different communities, and all these different communities will share few beliefs, but not necessarily they agree on everything. They need not agree on everything, but they share some beliefs. So a constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in the country can agree upon as the basis of way in which they want the country to be governed. Example, we will go to our neighbor country, that is Nepal. See, Nepal is our neighboring country. Up to 1990, it was a very good example of monarchy. In 1990, people's movement, Jana Andolan, people's movement started in Nepal. People came, reached out to the king in masses, and they demanded the democracy. The king accepted that. Slowly they were moving toward democracy because of the pressure, people pressure. But in 2001, what happened? The palace massacre happened. That is, the king of Nepal, total family of king of Nepal was massacred in palace. Then king's brother came to power in 2001. But from 2002, the last king, Jnanendra, slowly moved Nepal into a monarchy again until 2005 with the help of the military. But again, Maoist and other, pressure groups pressurized king to become a democracy again. That is what has been told in this page. So in 2015, new constitution was adopted in Nepal. So we will see that. See, 1990, the constitution says executive. What is executive power? Executive power says the executive power of the kingdom of Nepal shall be vested in His Majesty and the Council of Ministers. So it says the executive power is with the king. Whatever king says, that is final. And who are these Council of Ministers? They are appointed by the king as well. So ultimately, the power lies with the king. But look at the 2015 scenario, the new constitution adopted. It says the executive power of Nepal shall, pursuant to this constitution and law, be vested in Council of Ministers. What is who is this? Who are these Council of Ministers? They are elected by the people of Nepal. So ultimately, the power is vested with people of Nepal. But where this in 90, it was His Majesty was the ultimate. He had the ultimate word. Whereas here, the constitution which gives the power to the people's representatives. Okay. So next, the second most important purpose of constitution is to define nature of country's political system. What is a political system? That is, what are the bodies that will govern a country? First it said king and his council of ministers. Later it said, democratic form, it said council of ministers elected by people. Sometimes, the power given to these bodies of political system is very well described by the constitution. Like sometimes our leaders may misuse their authority, just as it is explained in this classroom scenario in that example story. Our leaders may also misuse the power. Constitution usually provides safeguard. What is the situation that may arise to misuse the power, like holding more than one power seats, and using power to benefit of his family and friends. And all those things are very well explained. The safeguard is in Constitution. Indian Constitution guarantees right to equality to all persons and says that no citizen can be discriminated against on grounds of religion, race, caste, gender and place of birth. This criteria is important. You see, religion, race, caste, gender and place of birth. you should definitely memorize this. What are the basis? Because they will ask something which is not here and ask, okay, what is this a ground of discrimination according to the Constitution? You need to choose the right answer. So the guarantees on these grounds, no person will be discriminated. That is what Constitution assures us. And also it should protect the minorities' interest, because democracy is about majority's decision, majority voting. But can a majority decide what should be done and what should not be done based on majority decision? Just as the example is given here, in a class there are more boys and less girls. So boys will decide to play cricket, whereas girls don't get to say anything. Is that right? That is not right. So minorities' interests should also be considered. Just numbers are important to elect the representatives only. Numbers are not important to decide what to have and what not to have. This is very, very important. So one community dominating another community, and within the community itself, one person dominating another. So that inter-community domination and intra-community domination, all these things are checked by the Constitution. Third significant reason is why we need a Constitution is to save us from ourselves. Sometimes without much thinking, we decide to take very bad decisions. So to save us from, there is another illustration given here. I will also tell you one example where we need to save ourselves from ourselves. When democracy is showing some bad moments, when democracy is having some bad moments, something is not going right, we all hear someone around us keep saying we should not have democracy, we should definitely have a dictatorship or military rule. Only then we will be able to get out of all this nonsense. You must have heard saying that. So what if someone who is powerful, who has the number in parliament, decides to change India from a democracy to a dictatorship? Is it not possible? No, it is not possible. Our Constitution has not given the way to that. Some parts of the Constitution is amendable, amendments. Some parts of the Constitutions are not amendable. So we cannot change. Constitution itself says you are having a democratic republic and you cannot change it. So founders of Constitution have laid this rule very strictly. So these are the three significant reasons why we are having a Constitution. What are these reasons? To lay out certain ideals, rules, principles, what kind of country we are going to be. One. Second most important is political system. Who will rule? How will they rule? Checks and balances to their powers. They are given this power, but they are not given this power. If they misuse the power, this will happen like that. So no one is misusing the power. One dominant group cannot use its power against the minority, less powerful people. No. And third one is to save us from ourselves, to save us from making bad decisions. This is third one. The long experience of this British rule, authoritarian rule, has given insight to our forefathers, our founding fathers, founders, that the free India should be a democracy. Everybody will be equal and everybody will participate in the government. How will they participate in the government? By adult universal suffrage. This is a unique system. Please do a little homework. Which are the countries had adult universal suffrage? That is, whoever came to a particular age, that is as defined as adult by the government. Everybody in that can vote. So that is an important decision taken by our government. Very developed countries also took the decision only later. What is the other option? Ladies will not have. Only adult males will have the voting rights, and only adult who is paying the taxes to the government will have the voting right. In few countries they had that, but in India, right from the beginning, when we were born as India, we had this adult universal suffrage. The group of eminent 300 people created this constitution for us. That's all for this session. The salient features of Indian Constitution session, we will have it soon. Thank you.